Today we're going to be ranking every icon midfielder in FC24. Comment down below, have you got any of them? Starting off one that, to be honest, you don't really see very often. Abili, 90 rated, French centre mid, 440 on the price. And to be honest, I've only used it a handful of times. We've tried to kind of at the start of the game to get a review out and then kind of midway through just to see how the patch worked with her. And to be honest, she does a pretty good service. She's got the 4-4. Playstyle wise, decent on the normal. She's got acrobatic on the Playstyle plus, so I'm not necessarily sold on that ability, but I'd say she definitely reserves in the S category. We then have normal Ballack. He's currently coming in at 91,000. He is very, very bog standard in his normal form. It's kind of hard to have a massive comparison between the 87 and the 88. He didn't get the upgrade, so it will be interesting to see where the comparison lies between them, and we'll see it in the next one. But in terms of the 87 Ballack, I don't think I could go any higher than an A. So we have the 88 Ballack. Like I said, he got 2 wins out of the 2 wins out of the 4 in fact, so he didn't unfortunately get the upgrade that he could have had. He does have a little bit of an upgrade, and to be honest, I don't feel like it's enough to put him in an S category. It's a nice card and the value is a lot more for the SBC, obviously. If he managed to get to the 89, it could have been a possibility because the stats would have increased. But realistically, there's no upgrade on skill move, weak foot. There's no upgrade on the Playstyle plus. Unfortunately, it's just a slightly bit better version. Now, I'm a big fan of Essien. He's coming in at 251. He has got the Playstyle plus for Jockey. And I do think in terms of the defensive ability, he's very, very good with it. 86 rated though. We could do an upgrade at some point, whether we see it in the winter wildcards. It might have been leaked by now, but I think with me, from my experience with him, he was an easy S CDM. Now we have got 86 Gattuso. Lovely card, and I think from previous years the base was always decent enough. I feel like they kind of screwed him over this time round. He just doesn't have a role. Defending wise is not awful, but everything else about him really is, so he's a B. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. And going one step further with the 87, they did him even dirtier. He may have got the upgrade, and like I said, defend and physical, not terrible. It's 90 and 88, that isn't awful, but when you look and consider the beta, the agility, the balance, the relentless playstyle plus, I think did he get a change? He didn't even get a change. 2-star, 3-star. He's coming in lower than the 86 because of the fact it is a special item, not an icon, and he'll join him in the B. Then we have Steven Gerrard, currently 134, 88 rated with the Power Shot Playstyle Plus, again waiting on that upgrade, and I feel like when it comes to the Gerrard, Lampard, Laudrup, the ones that haven't got one, it is now time for at least a double upgrade, so maybe we do see that in the future. With Gerrard, the free is going to hold him back quite a bit. I do think in terms of stats, we've got a good amount going. Maybe a bit more pace could be what really sways him. I feel like he's a very, very low A tier. Now we have Haji. He is the lowest out of the 2 different versions he's got from the Dynasties. He is an 88 rated cam. He's got himself the Power Shot, 70,000 coins. He is a 4-4 already, which is always nice. And I do think with Haji, he's just not really used mainly because there's always been better. Considerably better as well. It's not necessarily his fault that you've got so many cam icons that just take that place. He naturally just becomes the worst out of a decent-ish bunch. So overall wise, I feel like now we've got a couple of other versions. This one would definitely been demoted. We then have the 89, which I believe is coming in at 70,000 coins, so pretty much the same sort of price. And to be honest, he hasn't really got much of an upgrade. It's very samey. And unfortunately, they did take one of the playstyle pluses that he did have, which was the Power Shot, and turned it into a chip shot. I'm not a big fan, especially from a cam, because realistically, how many times is he going to go through on goal? So for me, it has to be in the B category as well. But then we do have the 90. This is a slightly little bit better version, naturally, because a +2 from the base. He has got a +3 on the pace, on the physical, 2 on everything else, and he does have now a different playstyle as well. He has flair. So again, something different, something nice. He is still a 4-4, unfortunately. I feel like they could have gone a 5-4 for this one to make him at least semi-decent of an upgrade. He's currently coming in at 160, and I think he'll join Gerrard in a very low A tier. We then have Roy Keane. 86 rated, desperate for an upgrade. He's always been decent as he's kind of climbed the ranks from the moments to the campaigns, and I don't feel like he's had a fair shout at a big icon upgrade. It's never been a 95, 97, I believe. I could be wrong. But in terms of this version, he's got the slide tackle plus. He's relatively up there. The highest one he's got is 93. So if he was managing to get one of them big icon upgrades, that could be the big tell for him. In terms of the 86, it's 68,000 coins. Pretty much the minimum you can get. And that's where he should go. Big boy Lampard, very much like Gerrard. We've got a playstyle plus a power shot. Currently coming in at 74,000 coins. He's not necessarily... Is he as good as Gerrard? I just don't think... I feel like they're both very similar. They both play the same. It was kind of the theory, the joke behind everything that they couldn't play together. It's literally they are the same sort of player. Long range shots. They've even gave him the same play shot plus, which is hilarious. He is a 3-4 though. So on the basis that Gerrard's very similar, I'm going to go for a very low A. We then have Laudrup. Again, another one that needs an upgrade, 88 rated Cam. Cam played the left wing, which is always nice, and he does have the Trickster playstyle plus. I never really saw him, so I couldn't vouch for that, but it's pretty decent, to be honest. He's got 4-star, 4-star, pace-wise, everything is pretty standard. He's got decent dribbling, which is always nice for the Trickster, but I feel like with a Laudrup, he now needs that next level up. Otherwise, it's just curtains for him. He practically is minimum value now. Again, I could argue between kind of lower, but I don't feel like he's that much better, if any, than Haji. We then have Makelele, very much like Essien. I'm a big fan. He's 258 on this version, and he does have one that is one above him as well in the Centurions, in fact. But 258 for the block playstyle plus, coming in with a 3-star, very similar to Essien, but in terms of the defending physical, he was actually really, really good. So I'm a big fan. I'm going to whack him in the S. And as you can imagine, the 88 is going to follow suit. In terms of actually purchasing him, I would always go for the base. You are paying 200k more for +1s on everything, bar from shooting and dribbling that gets a +2. There is nothing different other than that. That's it. No weak foot skill move, no playstyle plus. It is just a standard team in a week, but he is still good. He's just not worth the value compared to the base. We finally have our first S plus guaranteed because Matthaus is next with a 90 rated. He is 1.9 million coins. Incredible card. Everywhere on the pitch. Pace is good. Shooting's good. Literally everything. Bar from the dribbling being a little bit lower because of agility balance. Everything is absolutely outstanding with this card. He is a perfect box to box and he deserves the S plus title. We then have Petit as an 87. I must admit, it was kind of like him, Rijkaard, Essien and Makelele were kind of like the first upgrade pack. I believe it was like a max 87 or it was either max 87 or max 86. I couldn't remember which one, but they're all very similar. I always kind of put Essien and Makelele as the topper CDMs. And then with Petit, he is very much like Desai, waiting for that prime moments, that big upgrade for him, as it just gives him that bit of space to kind of run around into. He has a little bit more on the stats, and I do think he's kind of a high A in this. I don't know if I'd quite go with an S. And that brings me nicely on to Rijkaard. Now, I really like this card because of one reason, and that is the Intercept Plus. For me, that is an absolute game changer for a CDM. It just works. He manages to win the ball. He's got great physicality. Pace-wise is good enough. I can kind of go with a shadow and be happy with it. You'd end up with 85 and 93 on obviously that defending, and it turns him into an 89 CDM. I'm a big fan of that intercept, and I must admit, if I needed another CDM, he would be one of the ones I'd call, or another one like him. Now, Riquelme just never really got going in FIFA, to be honest. He was added, it was a nice little upgrade for Argentina, a couple of icons added into them. Unfortunately, we did lose Maradona, so we're kind of back to now having him as the cam, and I just don't think he works. Even though, stats-wise, he really should have something. He's a 5-star, 4-star. Flair, maybe they're not greatest playstyle plus, but it works. Pace-wise is absolutely shot. Passing and dribbling's good, but in terms of just in-game, he just doesn't work at all. Now, from the same era as Lampard and Gerrard, unfortunately, just not the ability in FIFA. Obviously, out of FIFA, it's a different story. We've seen plenty of players not transpire into FIFA very well, whereas I think with Scholes, he really just doesn't. He hasn't got anything to offer in FIFA. Even Pirlo has more to offer. And that is the same sort of player. The passing, little bit of dribbling. Obviously, Pirlo had a bit more flair to his game. But with Scholes, it just doesn't work. It's natural. And naturally the same for his 89. Again, there's just nothing there. Now, Bastian Schweinsteiger 88 centre mid, love him in game. I think for him, he needs that upgrade from, I can't remember which one he got, was it the World Cup last year? It just made him so much better. The pace increase, obviously 80 on everything else, it was just an absolute breath of fresh air for him. And in terms of a centre mid, that's all he needs. He's got 83 on everything bar from passing and pace, 86 on the passing. It's a good base to start with, and you can only get better. So if we manage to see a 1990 on Schweinsteiger, that's going to be a really good card. If he could get a 4-star as well, I'd be very happy with him there. I'm going to go low A for right now on the base. Now, comment down below, tell me, is it Socrates or Socrates? I don't know which one it is, but either or, a good cam. He may not be your number one in the Brazil nation because naturally there is a lot of top end ones, and unfortunately he's literally the best out of the bad bunch. Well, no, he's the worst out of the best bunch. Whatever way, he's a 4-star, 5-star, flair on the Playstyle Plus. He's a little bit clunky at times when it comes to the base version normally, and I do think he gets away with it slightly in this version, but again, he's kind of like the most that's waiting for that next level up. The only thing with Socrates is, for me, he would need literally a +2 to +4 to make him out of that, because naturally, we've got the balance at 58, it's just not enough. We need a bit more from him, especially when the fact he is 6'4". That being said, I still think out of all of these icons, he definitely is one of the better ones. So I'd go a low S. I feel like he's just a bit better than the top A. Now, one that's definitely due an upgrade soon, Seedorf. I am shocked to see him at 70,000 coins. This is normally a cracking box-to-box. Whenever they did I think it was the cam and centre mid or CDM and cam position for him, they made him so good last year. Now I'm hoping for the same this year, because if you can get his upgrade right, he becomes a very, very good box to box. If potentially, I think it might have been shapeshifter icons, if you could get him there as a box to box, he's naturally incredible. This version on the other hand, 4-star, 4-star, which is good. He's got the power shot on the Playstyle Plus, and in terms of stats, we're kind of there, but unfortunately, he is very, very bog standard. I'm close to going B, but then I'm also very close to going a very low A. If I'm thinking I'd take him over Scholes, I'd take him over Gattuso, even in a cam I'd take him, would I take him over Haji? As a solid cam, I'd probably take Haji, so I've got to go B. Now, to be honest, Veron's an easy one. Rubbish. Genuine rubbish. He's a 3-star, 4-star. He has literally nothing to give. Even if we look, he's 65,000 on the base version, so the 65. That naturally is the lowest you can go. His 87 is 26.5, and his 89 is 97. And I feel like that's just based on the fact it was so difficult to pack. He was always getting that 87. All three of them can just go straight into the B, as naturally they are some of the worst cards you can get. Now, from a B tier to a very top tier, Patrick Vieira, 2.13 mil, incredible price for him, obviously 88 rated, again looking for that upgrade if we can. He is only a 3-star on this first version, which is crazy to think that he is still that expensive with them stats. Obviously the defending's good, physical's good, pace-wise is decent for a CDM at, 6'4" as well. Balance, 66, still better than Socrates, which is incredible, and obviously does have that block playstyle plus. I'm hoping they do release a very meta version, maybe the intercept on him, which would be just an absolute cheat code. If you could make him a 4-4 intercept, make a little bit more pace, a little bit more balance, you've got yourself like one of the best CDMs in the game. He's obvious going next to Matthaus in the S+. We then have the first version of Xabi Alonso. 69,000, very bog standard. In terms of the game, he really doesn't offer too much. He's very much kind of like that Pep Guardiola. No pace, good amount of defending, passing's decent, dribbling is what it is. He's a bottom tier card. Now in terms of the Thunderstruck, did get the upgrade, so he is a +2, which is always nice. +4 on the pace, 2 on everything else bar from the dribbling and physical. It's a nice upgrade. It may not be the greatest. He's still got the long ball plus, which is fair enough, but he is only coming in at 77,000 as well. Also, he is still a 3-star, 4-star. In terms of everything else, we've got a little bit more on that agility. Nothing really too crazy. And again, he's just got to go in the bottom. Now, Xavi is 145, very much like Pirlo. Little bit of pace, cracking dribbling, cracking passing. Everything else, dead. is 145,000, and I think the one thing that could really help Xavi in this sort of role is at least having some weak foot, some more skills, a 5-star skill at the minimum, just to help with that dribbling, and unfortunately he doesn't have it. That being said, I've got to always take into consideration the good stuff that he does have, and I think when it comes to the likes of Scholes, who's very similar with, say, more passing ability, and somebody like... there's nobody else like him other than Pirlo, to be honest. They're both very similar. I'd look at a very, very low A. We then have Kaka, 89 rated to start with, 500,000 coins. He is a 5-star, 4-star, so the opposite of Socrates. I think Socrates, did I say, was a 4-5? So he is the opposite. And in terms of stats, he's much better. I feel like Kaka definitely is more of a kind of mid to topper S category, and we do have a different version of him as well, which is always perfect. But I like Kaka. I think his skills are good. Pace is normally pretty consistent. Shooting wise, you go for a chemistry style, you're going to be pretty happy with him. So he's an easy S option for me. Now we do have the 91 as well. He did manage to get the upgrade to the 91 from 90, and I think he's definitely succeeded from it. He's just shy of 1 million coins at 995. Terms of upgrades, we're looking at 2 on everything bar from shooting, defending and physical. He has got an extra playstyle as well with first touch. Whether it makes it that much different, at the minimum it's an extra one at best. Same playstyle plus, and I think with this upgrade, I'm gonna have to say he's gonna push him just into that S+, just. We then have Baggio, another 5-star, 4-star can play in that centre forward role. A lot of people could put him as striker if they really wanted to, and I do think in terms of the card, he's got some nice attributes. Technical playstyle plus, which would have been good at the start of the game. Playstyle wise, we've got finesse, dead ball, long ball, flair, first touch, so has a decent shout between them. Dribbling wise at 91 is always good. Composure's a little bit shot at 84. For a 91 rated card, I would expect more, especially when we've got 90 passing as well. Shooting wise needs a little bit of an extra. I think once he gets upgrades, he gets kind of like that week or two of in the limelight, and then it just fades. So I think a very mid A tier for this one. Now I think this is where the onslaught of the team goes, because we've got a lot of top end centre mids now. Bobby Charlton being the first one at 1.5 million. He's an easy top end category. He's a 4-5, 90 pace, 91 shooting, 91 dribbling. If you've ever used him, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. He is just phenomenal on the ball. It's a great addition for him, and hopefully at some point soon we do see that upgrade, because a 93, 94 is going to take it to that next level. And Gullit's Gullit. I don't really need to go too much in detail. The only thing I always like to do whenever Gullit's brought up is see the cost, because we're now having a base version at 3.7 and a Centurion's version at 6.4. Both of them are 4-star, 5-star as normal, and both of them are as elite as ever. They're the best in striker, centre forward, centre mid, cam, CDM, wherever you want to put them. Now Pirlo has his budget version and also his Centurion version. Both of them are decent-ish cards. Obviously, like we said with Xavi, he's mainly more pass and dribbling orientated. He does have the 5-star, 4-star, which is always nice. And obviously with the 92, he was an SBC, so that has expired now. We've got the base version coming in at 147, and then the 92 was coming in at just shy of 600,000 coins. Now, in terms of the difference between them, we have got a 7 pace increase on the second card, the Centurion, as well as 4 on physical and shooting, 2 on everything else. If it wasn't for the fact that he had that 7 pace, I would kind of put them very similar in the position. Obviously, with a 7 pace, you cannot disregard that. I think for me, Pirlo would have to be a topper end A, and this one a bottom. And to be honest, I'm dragging Xavi down with him. We then have Sawa, the 91 Japanese centre mid. I've just realised it's always hard to see these down the bottom when you can see their nation. But she is another addition to the icons. And again, they've done really well. A 4-star, 4-star coming in at 770,000. A little bit more different to kind of how Abili is. I feel like she most definitely is on the kind of smaller side and naturally just a pain to get around, because she just gets everything. When it comes to shooting, she has decent success, I would say, but I think the one thing that always lets someone like a Neymar down, the shot power is absolutely dog. 79, 79, the free kick accuracy is the same. It's just not enough in my opinion. When you're kind of going for the assist play, decent, very, very decent. It's just kind of that whole round package that you'd get from, say, like a Zico or a Zidane. it's just not quite there, but I must admit, defending, she gets in front of people, and relentless playstyle plus as well. We then have two versions of Zico. Unfortunately, it is only a +1 between them, but he is a 5-star, 5-star. A brand new Brazilian cam, like we had enough of them, but he is phenomenal again. The one thing I really want to try him out again, we've tried him pre-patch, so I need to try and post-patch again because he was brilliant before. The skills are there, the pace is there, shooting, dribbling, passing, everything just comes so easy to him. He's just like a kind of middle version of like what Ronaldinho is like. Obviously with Ronaldinho, he does have his own dribbling stance, whereas Zico is just so quick with it. It's very clean, it's easy to do, and naturally he's just bound to get you goals. The base version's coming in at 1.9, and the Centurion's just coming over 3 million coins and easily in the bank. Now we have three versions of Zidane as well. We have an SBC at a 92, we have the base version at a 94, and then we have the 95 at the Dynasties in packs. So in terms of the base, well, in terms of the 92, we're coming in at 1.7 million. The base version of him, or the 94, is coming in at 1.78 million. And then we have the 95 coming in at a whopping 2.95 million. All three versions have a 5.5. If you are after a Zidane, go for the 92. It's an SBC. I'd say it's easy to do. It's grindable. Naturally, it is grindable, but you are going to pay through the nose for it, especially if you haven't finished an Mbappe yet, or if you've not finished a Dalglish, a Eusebio. I feel like Dalglish is probably gone by now, but if you are wanting him, I would go for the 92. The only thing you've got to remember is, if we do get a Dynasty or Icon or Centurion pack, there is the chance of two different Zidanes if you give up all them coins, but 5.5 is naturally going to be there. And then the final card, Pele. 3.8 mil. Again, another 5-star, 4-star. We know what Pele is like. He's brilliant no matter where you put him. He's quick, he's got the dribbling, the passing, the shooting, even physicality in-game is good. Obviously, when it comes to stats, it doesn't shout that about him, but a 95 Pele is just GOAT tier always.